Hey everybody, welcome back. I'm Jesse, your DM.
Cody playing Lazarus.
Brennan playing Dis.
Mike playing Nim.
Britt playing Kenna.
And we are Double Doubles and Dragons. We're a group of goofy Canadians that have gotten together to play a little D&D. Sometimes we will say things that are inoffensive. We mean them as jokes, of course, and they're certainly funny to us, but some people may find this offensive. If you do, we apologize, but we don't want any hate mail about it. So just don't listen, okay? Let's jump right into the action. Okay, guys, welcome back. So let's do a quick run-through of things that happened last time, and we will go forward with the session from there. So last time, we rejoined the party as they made their way into Stronghold, or rather woke up in an inn in Stronghold after being drugged. Yeah. You know, such things happen. And you guys went downstairs, got yourself some food, met Lil, who's going to be kind of your liaison, and yeah, you guys learned a lot of information about the Stronghold, a little bit of its history, how the Adventurers Guild stuff works, how the ranking system goes. You also learned that, unfortunately, you're only at the copper level, mostly due to some issues with possible affiliations outside, but, you know, I'm sure you'll get into that later. Then you were given 2 quests, and you decided to take both of them. That was an option available to you. You are trying to get fertilizer for a gentleman's farm, and you are trying to help a different gentleman build the Church of his Dreams out of old ruined stones. Is there anything that anybody wants to bring up that they want to draw particular attention to outside of that very quick recap?
We don't know what the chainmail guy is doing. We don't know how close he could be. We need to stay vigilant. We need to be ready.
Yes, I'm terribly sorry. I failed to mention that the chainmail guy did not make an appearance last session, but was talked about frequently.
He's on a different
He's on
run.
a different level.
Yeah, for sure. He's
waiting.
Or he never made it. Or
Ambush
he didn't do
is
anything.
set. We gotta be careful.
Waiting. He's there. Waiting.
I really hope that chainmail guy is just not here at all.
He just
And
got
you're
rejected, thrown
You're
out.
just going to be terrified of him the entire rest of the campaign that we're here, and he's not that.
He's a
We're
very
going to go
real
back to the
threat.
island and he's going to be there.
That would be amazing.
That would. Can you
Just-
make that happen? You can make it happen. You, of
You
course
can make that
You're
happen.
the DM. You can do
You
that.
can make anything happen.
But not like just like in camp, but like we get
Like
back to
leaving.
camp and then all of a sudden around the tree peeks chainmail guy.
He's not involved. He just somehow snuck aboard.
Yeah, he's somehow on our island peeking around trees at Dis just to freak him out.
I hope you have nightmares about chainmail
And then
guy.
every time
Oh,
you go
I'm-
to look, he's not there.
Well,
Jesus Christ. It's been my own personal nightmare this entire time.
We're
as
making this really dark.
as terrifying as chainmail guy's absence or presence might be, unfortunately, it's not relevant today. So we will have to move on. So to give a really quick, detailed recap for you guys, if I am not mistaken, it was Nim and Dis that went to go talk to the farmer about some poo. And Lazarus and Kenna went to go talk to a man about a church. If I recall correctly, you guys had basically found out that you need to collect these stones from the ruins nearby, told you where to get some wagons, and you guys we kind of left off there. And then for the farmer, you know that he needs corn, or, well, he grows corn, I should say, and he needs more fertilizer. He's kind of lost his source. He wants it for a very specific price. You guys offered to go talk to this gentleman on his behalf who has a goat farm, and more importantly, you pitched a separate deal where a certain druid, I'm assuming she agrees, of course, would cast plant growth in a manner which would benefit him and maybe get you guys a little bit of extra something out of the deal.
So I've written down 50 silver per month for goat poo. Is that
It was a 50 silver max.
per month? That's his maximum.
That's what he paid last.
That's right. I'm sure if you could get him a little less, he'd probably be a happy guy.
And we are the right people to ask.
So yeah, anything else? Anything anybody wants to draw attention to? If not, we'll jump right back in. We know that Nim and Dis were on their way back to town. I suppose Kenna and Lazarus, being that by the time you guys had kind of finished talking to the priest as well, it wouldn't be nighttime, but like the day would be getting long, and you know it's a couple of hours to the ruin at the very least. Would you go off and explore that yourself? Take a quick peek before the other two get back, do you think, or?
Would you want to check out the ruins first after we look at the wagons, or what would we decide there?
I mean, if it's starting to get late, I think that they would probably just head back to the tavern.
How
Like,
dark?
Well,
I
said
would
this-
say by the time you're done talking to him, it's probably only about 3.
But didn't you say the sunset's around like 4:30?
Well, that was outside. You actually have no idea how the sunset works inside the Stronghold.
Oh. Well, maybe we should.
As you may
figure that
recall,
out.
there's no sun. It's just a kind of greenish tinge to the sky and ambient light.
Yeah, because you guys wouldn't know because me and or Nim and Dis had that conversation with Peter last time
Right.
about how much daylight we had left.
Like,
Yeah,
I swear
they
I heard
know.
this, but that would be why.
Peter
I'm not
Harvester.
metagaming, I swear.
I'm Mr. Harvester.
So I think what probably Lazarus would probably, especially if it's like 3 and it feels like the day's just started, he'd probably start scouting.
Okay.
At least try to.
Well, then I guess you better convince Kenna that she's giving you kind of a
You're
look.
being dragged along.
Why?
Having a look does us no harm.
It's a few hours away. We don't even know how far we gotta go.
Well, now we'll figure it out before we need to bring the wagons.
Well, if we're gonna do that, I think I want to go get my bedroll.
Lazarus shall wait here.
All right, I'll be right back.
Okay. Kenna makes her way back to the tavern, grabs your bedroll. Anything you want to do while you're there?
I want to talk to Lil quick.
Sure, absolutely. As you come in, Lil is working at the, obviously the bar table there. And she sees you come in, she gives you a friendly nod.
Hey, Lil, I just had a question for you.
All right, go ahead.
What time does the green stuff get dark?
Oh my, I probably should have helped you along with that. I'm given to understand, of course, that, outside is a little different than us. We usually have sunset sometime around 5:30 to 6 o'clock. So you got it's about 3 hours or so, if I had to make a guess. I will warn you, because we don't really have a sun to do a sunset, sunrise, it is kind of fast, or certainly faster than you're used to. It kind of goes from like, yay, nice brightness that plants can grow at, to kind of like, oh wow, it's bedtime.
All right, and do you, I mean, it's probably going to sound stupid, but I assume there's no, nighttime moon kind of thing going on?
No, not really.
So it's just dark.
Yeah.
Like, really dark.
There's a certain amount of, the way I would best describe it is, if you imagine, I suppose many years ago before the moons failed, if you had a nice bright, both moons were full, you'd get that nice, we kind of get that soft glow, maybe about half that strong. So it's not like you're going to be completely blind or anything, dear, but it's going to be dark.
Well, I mean, I can't see in the dark, so I will be completely blind.
I too suffer from that problem.
All right, well, thanks, Lil.
Not a problem, dear, not a problem.
And I'll go scurry off to Lazarus.
All right, so you kind of make your way back. Lazarus, while she's gone, I mean, it's not that long, but what are you doing?
Stretching, obviously.
Oh, okay. So Lazarus is just doing his big lizard stretches.
Limbering up.
Like, it's funny, too. Like, I assume you stretch the tail, right? Like, not just the legs, the arms.
That's
but
first
the
thing in the morning. First thing.
Just a tail stretch?
Yeah.
First thing in the morning? Okay, that makes sense.
Do you do the cat thing where you kind of arch your back and the tail goes way out?
Tail's just straight up.
Yeah.
Do you do, like, the Winnie the Pooh cartoon where you, like, tip back on the tail and give it a bounce?
Bouncy, bouncy, bouncy.
It doesn't go into a spring when I sit on it.
That's true. It's really not
That
the
would
kind
be
of
really
tail for that.
convenient.
Okay, well, as you arrive back, Lazarus is doing some light stretching.
Hey, Lazarus.
Have your bedroll then.
I do, but I talked to Lil about this kind of sunshine, but not sunshine thing, green stuff.
Oh, and what does she say?
So it turns off around 5:30 or 6. And she said, unlike back home where, you get, gradual sunset, it's just kind of, dark.
Oh. Then perhaps we would not have the time.
We only have about 3 hours, she said.
Unless Lazarus intended to sprint. We would probably not make it.
Well, yeah, exactly. I mean, I could maybe try to get us some war horses or something, but that's still going to take a while.
Lazarus intends to do something. Perhaps he will try to plan out at the site first.
What do you plan on doing?
The ground he marked out. Start envisioning where things are going.
Yeah. We can do
Lazarus
that.
is feeling restless today.
Fair enough. Who knows how long we were sleeping and we've been holed up and it's been weird.
Well, you know where to find Lazarus.
Well, I'm going to come with you.
All right then.
All right, so you make the quick jaunt over to where the ground has been kind of laid out with a rough, what would you call it, drawing of what the church layout is going to look like, and you kind of start examining it. Anything in particular you want to do with that, or just kind of is a general story? You know, you're just kind of trying to figure out how much you might need and that kind of
Well,
stuff.
I'm kind of like just sticking in my head the main width and length, and I suppose like how much detail did he go into of the church? Not a whole lot.
No, it's very much like a small town church. It really does look like it's going to be kind of just the front entryway opens up to a big room where there'll probably be pews and the usual church type things, and then maybe a little back area. It's going to be fairly small.
Then I guess we're just figuring out. He's going to be thinking back to wine and when he was helping us organize rocks and trying to think of how he might, depending on what the ruined blocks look like, how he would like build the foundation out.
Certainly. Imagining what wine might do might not be the worst thing in the world. We haven't had a chance to get there yet, but wine is one of the members that exists, or one of the NPCs that exists on their home island that they've managed to gather, who seems fairly competent at building things. So he's a good role model.
Minus being a drunk.
Well, drunk builders are the best builders.
Oh, I think he fakes
I
it.
mean, he's pretty sober for a dwarf, though. Sometimes.
Sometimes, depends.
I will not tolerate your dwarf racism.
I mean, I
others
apologize
are
to
fine,
all
just
the
not
dwarfs
yours.
out there. You're not all alcoholics, I'm sorry.
But you do all have beers. That's a real thing.
But aren't.
So yeah, I think that's fine. You guys can spend some time doing that. Are you more or less just going to wait around until Dis and Nim come back?
Yeah, I mean, once Lazarus is pondered to his satisfaction, he'll probably actually just be doing exercises.
Okay, sure.
Did we ever chat with Lil about how much it's going to cost us to stay?
Yes, she did tell us that.
Alright, I just forget.
Let me see what's in my notes. Well, she said not how much, but that we would have to pay in 10 days.
Yeah, I remember that part. I just was like, well, maybe we should. If you're just gonna keep
Lazarus
mapping
would
it out.
presume that would be something that we're used to. Which is not used to not much.
You know, it's maybe not a bad idea to talk briefly about how much gold you guys have on hand. You haven't really had cause to use it in a while.
Here's the gold.
We
bag.
rich.
We actually have quite a bit.
Lazarus has his pocket change, that's it.
Yeah, because I didn't consolidate all of our funds into this bank. That's just what we put in our bank. I still have-
Lazarus kept only whatever he found personally.
Yeah, I have like 12 GP on my person.
I have 12.
I have 85.
Wow, Lazarus is loaded. How much does Dis have?
That's a good question.
Paladin got some starting.
40 GP at least. That may be all of it, though.
Okay.
And then
He's
how
got
much
one
you
So
have
in the
collectively?
bank, we got 1,900 copper, 900 silver, and 110 gold.
So 200.
So Lazarus is 85. Actually, make up a lot of that.
Oh, that's 10 times 5. That's gotta be.
Yep. That was a lot.
That's definitely how much money we have.
Yeah, there's the real card.
Don't try to pass off previous campaign funds as real funds.
I want to see the numbers just for reference.
That's not okay.
They're pretty big.
And that was all ill-gotten gain.
That wasn't even half of it. I think they had
Yeah, I think
much
you
more.
squirreled away shit.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, he had his secret, like, his sock was like full of gold.
I was
somehow.
ready to take over the world.
And he was still sneaky as heck.
Annoying.
Okay, so you guys know you've got some gold on hand. You know you're not, dead poor, so to speak.
It just depends on if they do currency that way.
That would be interesting to see. I mean, obviously currency you were used to was before the world fell. Prices may have gone up. And by may have gone up, I mean, that'd probably be pretty realistic, wouldn't it?
Depends on how rare
So
gold
he's
is,
telling
too.
us that prices have gone up.
Everybody's just looking at me like, what do you mean prices have
So
gone
we
up?
have 110 gold, and that'll get us 3 days.
That'd be amazing. It's like, first night stay is 100 gold?
All of us would be like, huh? Just Lazarus just shits an egg on the spot.
You know, when they've murdered like 90% of the world's populace, though, I don't think that's how supply and demand works.
But if there's only a couple of places that are safe, that sounds like pretty high demand.
We gotta start charging on the island, guys. Send bird.
But let's not get too worried about that. They did say you had 10 days to negotiate your fare. So in that case, then I suppose we will allow some time to naturally pass. In the meantime, for Dis and Nim, you guys obviously had already decided that you were going to be on your way back to Cabbage Run. What are you doing on the way? Anything in particular? Strategizing, doing...
Skipping.
I feel like Nim's still
merrily?
skipping, going, books, 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 books.
I imagine that's
would sound like
ridiculously irritating.
Just dancing my way back beside him.
Yes.
Gotta go along with the song.
Dis has the dancing lights going with us.
Probably moonwalking.
Except they're like, it's still light out, so they're like barely visible.
Actually, he's probably going pretty slow still, so I'm probably moonwalking.
Okay, that makes sense. Dis can moonwalk faster than Nim can walk forward. That sounds about right. Okay, no, that's totally fine. If you guys don't have anything that you really need to discuss just amongst yourselves, then we will go ahead and speed up to the point when you all get back together. It's a pretty small town, as you have imagined. I mean, really, there's only like the 3 buildings involved because most of the townspeople are out in the farms in the nearby area, so it's kind of a loose-fitting town. So I imagine it's probably not all that hard for you guys to find each other, especially if Lazarus is just doing like random exercises outside.
Just swinging his hammer around.
Yeah, so I imagine you, as you kind of walk in, you can probably see them. That being said, you did have a bit of a ways to travel. It's not quite darkness yet. It's probably approaching 5.
Okay.
So yeah, you see each other.
Books, 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 books.
Oh, books, is it? Did you find some on your way?
No, just can't stop thinking about how great it's going to be when I get access to these books.
Sounds like every other day.
Yeah, but now there's a light at the end of the tunnel. Before it was just no books.
I think he has an addiction.
Had all the time in the world to say tunnel. And just went with no books.
Well, how are the things on your end?
Oh,
Good. I guess. So we met with Peter Harvester. And he wants us to source him some goat poop to fertilize his crops.
from Gorbik Dirtbeard.
That's the one.
Apparently goats are masterful poopers. That's what I learned today.
Is that an intentional
yeah,
or
goats poop
unintentional
a
name
lot.
coincidence?
Why do you think people
Random.
keep them on the farms?
What?
Or used to, I guess.
Oh yeah, and Kenna, we might have promised your druidic services to the farmer as well.
What druidic services did you promise?
I just said you could cast like a plant growth or two.
Well, I can try, but I mean, like, I'm not exactly sure how it'll work down here with no sunshine.
I mean, plants still grow, right?
Apparently.
So maybe, your magic can help things be more natural.
Yeah, who needs the unnatural ball of light when you have the natural green? I mean,
Here we are
yeah.
with the unnatural thing again.
I mean, like, foliage
We
is
got
green.
a natural over here in books.
They seem to always have one or the other.
No. That may be true. But we might make a lot of money here.
So what I'm thinking is we get up early tomorrow. What time's sunrise? Probably 5:30, 12 hour?
I have no idea. We'll have to ask Lil.
We'll have to ask Lil. Anyway, we get up right at sunrise, get to it, go make this poo deal, come back, see if, we got enough time to start doing, what did we need to do? To start a church, right?
We got quite a big job, actually. It's going to take a little while.
We are building an entire temple, it seems, from the remains of ruins, a couple hours away. It will involve some wagons, but we're going to have to bring the material here first.
And some heavy lifting. You're real good at that, right, Nim?
Wait, ruins? I thought we were in some kind of pocket dimension.
Apparently there's ruins in this pocket dimension.
It's kind of concerning.
Lazarus did not ask.
Are they inhabited?
Most likely not, Lazarus would think.
But Lazarus did not ask.
But again, Lazarus did not ask.
Oh, dang.
Just wondering.
I mean, we could always ask Father, Priest, whatever his name was.
Father Maxie?
Father Maxie.
Father Priest guy?
Yo, Father
Master
Priest
Lord.
guy.
What was that dude's name?
We can ask,
Master Lord. Radiant.
I wrote it down. We can ask
It's a cat.
Father Maxie for more information about the ruins.
Yeah. Is he still up and around?
I don't know, last time we saw him, he was by the watering hole.
We can simply check.
Alright.
Be prepared for hugs. Big hugs.
How big is he?
Fatherly hugs.
Big fatherly hugs.
Is he gonna kill Nim?
Yeah, how big is this guy?
He'll give an appropriate squeezed hug, I think, for your size.
I mean, I can probably get away. I'm pretty tiny. He has to lean down pretty far to get me.
Let us just go then.
Okay. You make your way back to where the watering hole is, but the father is not there. He appears to have moved on to somewhere else.
He wasn't by the church because we were there.
Perhaps.
Maybe he's in the tavern.
You are a druid as well.
I am. I can't do anything about it today.
I meant more you could track him
Oh, I guess I
if you
could track.
if you needed to.
How am I going to track his footsteps? Well, I guess I'll try to track Father Maxie.
He's probably been standing there.
You don't have to. I just thought
I'll try.
we're coming
I'll
back
try.
from a long break. I just want to, kind of ease everybody back
Remind
into the stuff they
us of
do,
what we can do.
Just things they do. Like, you're a druid, you track stuff. You're a big lizard, you lay eggs, apparently.
Only one startle.
Okay, we're gonna have to. That's going in now. I'm just warning you now. It's too funny to leave out.
First dragon. Oh boy.
Lazarus is gonna drop a load when
I
he
just
sees
Yoshi's myself.
Yep. Okay, so what am I rolling?
It would be a survival check.
18.
Okay. So you're kind of like, I feel like it's really mid-sentence. You're like, well, I don't really see how I could find his particular, oh, never mind, there's just one set of footprints.
Well, I think I found his footprint.
Father
Are we
Maxie's.
going to actually follow them now?
No.
Or simply wait?
Well, we should get this information so we can just set out and start in the morning.
We are close to our deadline, are we not?
But the tavern's like right there. What if he's just like around the corner?
I mean, we could probably
The
check.
footsteps do go around the corner.
After you, Kenna.
Alrighty, let's go. Dis, could you walk with me in case it gets real dark real fast?
Alright, let's go.
It does that around here.
It's beautifully perfect. You're like, Dis, can you help me unless it gets suddenly just dark?
Oh, now that is something.
And it really is fast. It's like, oh look, it's daytime, and then it's just gone.
Lil wasn't lying when she said it went from daytime to, oh, it's bedtime.
Everything's more comfortable now.
Question, is there any light coming from any of the buildings?
Yes, the tavern has light coming out of it, obviously, as does the general store building. It looks like the town hall may be closed up for a time. You were told that the mayor isn't around, so it just kind of seems like nobody's really using it.
Kenna, are you holding anything?
And I have my,
Do you have your club?
yes, I also have my clip. I also, yes, I have my clip.
Okay. Nim's like, Kenna, close your eyes for a second.
Close
And then
my
he
eyes.
casts light on your club.
Fantastic. I don't need to cast a spell.
What does Nim say to cast light? Should I hear it? Like, how does that go?
Like, let there be light.
Okay. I like it. So yes, just all of a sudden there's that bloom of sudden light. Luckily not super jarring to your poor pupils, because after all, it did just suddenly go dark out of nowhere anyway, so it's not like you've had very much time to adjust. Except Dis, I suspect.
Just covers his eyes.
He's like, But yeah, so now you have light. you can see.
Well, thanks, Nim. That's a lot better.
Yeah, I figured, you can see the tavern, so light must be okay to broadcast in here.
All right, well, let's follow these footprints.
And they didn't say anything about not casting lights.
They haven't said much about anything other than don't do anything to hurt the walls, but I don't even know where the walls are.
Yeah, it's a good question. Where the heck are the walls?
That is a good question.
I guess we
Only
shouldn't really
someone
be
would ask it.
asking that because
That
sounds kind of
sounds
suspicious.
suspicious.
Like, we were told not to damage them, but where are they? Just in case,
Hypothetically speaking. What got damaged? Where would that be?
You're gonna have to stay away from those dangerous hypothetical situations. They've gotten us in trouble before.
Now, if we were to destroy one of these walls, what would it take? Hypothetically speaking.
Hypothetically speaking. Okay, so you start following the footprints. They do, in fact, go around the building and seem to more or less point themselves in the direction of the tavern.
Told you.
He can't
there
see them,
regardless.
so...
Why?
Well, he hasn't looked for the footprints. So
Oh,
telling him,
so.
I told you so, he doesn't really know what you're talking about.
Also, I don't think Lazarus is. Lazarus isn't a dark vision.
But we have a light.
Well, you don't have dark vision?
How have you been?
It's one of those blind lizards.
How have we...
I'm not sure, because I'm coming off the dwarf, which had dark vision,
Yes.
and then I'm looking back at this, and I'm like, nah.
I'm thinking perhaps that was just something that was missed early
Yeah,
on.
I think I
think
just
so.
got accustomed to it.
Yeah. That's okay. We'll just punish you for it from now on. I'll just constantly have you walking into things. It's
Alright,
fine.
I'm huge. It's
Maybe
gonna
we
make
can
dents
get
and
some,
things.
rose-colored glasses that give us dark vision.
That Elton John equipped.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's hot.
Dark vision
We're
colored
gonna
glasses.
we're gonna look amazing.
I'm curious if it's one of those things where we just had a conversation because I was like an underwater lizard or something. We just said I had it.
Maybe.
I'm not
I
sure
don't,
where the
I
hell
don't
I'm
recall. We'll have to look into that.
I can't remember.
In the
where it was.
meantime, yes, the footprints definitely lead to the tavern.
To the tavern!
Let's go.
All right.
Oh, boy.
Out of curiosity, how are you entering the tavern? Like, what's the order of people?
I think everyone's following me. Following me.
I'm going to make the point that I snuff out the light as soon as we're within, the radius of the tavern, once we're, within the glow
Okay.
of the tavern.
We're gonna just walk
That
in the
seems fair.
tavern and everyone's gonna turn and point and laugh at the coppers.
The second I step into the tavern, I want to scan
Oh boy.
for chainmail.
Scan for chainmail. Okay. So I imagine then you're going in pretty close to
Yeah,
Kenna, then.
when we get close to the doors, I get up there really quick.
Big guy's probably bringing up the rear.
Okay, sounds good. So I'll have you roll a perception check then. Take a look. And in the meantime, Nim, I need a dexterity save from you.
Somebody go flying past.
Uh-oh. Someone just tried to snatch me. That is... Oh, God, what's my dex?
Just because Nim's child size, he thinks he's getting kidnapped.
I mean,
A hawk could basically pick him up.
That'd be
He's
amazing.
finally had enough.
Caw!
And it's just a saving throw?
Yes.
24.
24, okay. So, Dis, what did you roll for your
16.
perception? 16. Okay, so you take a look. You don't see Chainmail Guy. Although the tavern has gotten a little busier than the first time you were there. Seems like maybe people have come in from the fields and are just kind of, drinking off the day's work. However, what you do notice is a half-elf in priestly robes that has just made an immediate beeline for the door. And even before you have a chance to react, he makes the go for the hug at Nim. But Nim was already warned about the hug, and he was ready. And he just managed to sidestep the problem, maybe even behind Kenna or Lazarus. And, but Father, the father is not too dissuaged by that, and he just kind of goes, more children come to the bosom of our Lord. Come, new members, tell me your names.
Dis?
Dis! And he just gives you a big hug. Unless you'd like to try to stop him in any way.
No,
It's up to you.
I go back. It's so nice to meet you, Father.
And he gives you that big hug, and he puts his hands on your shoulder, and he goes, my child, have you seen the light?
I've seen light, yes.
That's good, that's good, that's good. And you, my tiny new brother-in-arms.
My name's Nim, and I don't hug on the first date, just letting you know.
That's quite all right, my child. I understand not all are ready to accept the becoming bosom of the Lord.
No, I mean, the Lord is all good and all that. I just, I'm not big on the physical contact right off the bat.
Ah, fear not. Father Maxey does not judge. Merely provides guidance.
I mean, as being my size, you get your face pressed into a crotch one too many times, being hugged, you just,
It is an interesting problem, my child, and I will think on it and pray for you.
I mean, it's not going to make me any taller.
One never knows how the Lord works, my child. Perhaps you have just not prayed hard enough.
Oh, no, I can't. Okay. I was going to do something, but
Oh man, we're all like
can't you?
dying of grins.
I was going to enlarge reduce myself, but I can't. Oh wait, I gotta pray.
Anyway, my children, new to the bosom of our Lord, is there anything Father Maxey can do to relieve the sorrows of the day for you? Would you like to confess?
I think we were looking for a little bit of information pertaining to your quest.
Ah, well, who better to provide you the information you need than the God on high above?
I mean, you maybe?
Well, I'm sure we both know. How about
You can
you?
just convey it for us. I don't care.
How about you ask me your questions, my child, and I will see if I can answer them for you.
So these ruins you spoke of, are they inhabited in any way?
I know not.
What can I ask? What they are ruins of? I am a little confused. I thought this was some kind of pocket dimension, and I don't think, from what I understand, pocket dimensions don't really work that way.
Others may know the information you seek, my child. Unfortunately, I myself am not a purveyor of the pocket dimensions. All I know is that there are ruins out there with beautiful stonework with which we can use to build a church for the Lord on high. I'm afraid other than viewing them from a great distance, I myself have not been there yet.
So, has anybody taken stones from here? Sorry, I might have missed that.
I believe some stones were taken for the foundations of some of the original buildings, but I'm not entirely sure what that entailed. I have only arrived about a year ago.
All right, is there someone we could maybe talk to who would have more information?
Some of the older farmers have been here longer. They may have information you seek.
Maybe Peter would know.
Can I do like a perception check around the room, see if there's like any older farmer-looking guys in the room?
Certainly.
I like how Nim just goes and gets it done.
Oh wait, fuck. Perception. God damn it. That's like, I think 12. Yep, 12.
Rolled under passive, huh?
No, I rolled passive.
Okay, that's all right then. Luckily for you, it's not all that hard to see. I mean, old farmer type individual kind of describes like 80% of the people you are on the front. So I mean, you definitely do. You're not short for possibilities.
He's not short.
Just do any of them? Do any of them look friendlier than it?
Ooh, friendlier. You know what? Roll.
Insight.
Yeah, I think roll an insight for that.
Ooh, using my insight.
Peer into their soul and tell me what you see.
Oh, that's not too terrible. Insight. 17.
Okay, not bad. Most of them seem fairly merry overall. If you had to pick one that seemed the friendliest, there is an individual off in the back corner looks like he's been sitting there for some time. There are a certain array of drink cups in front of him, and he seems of the jolly variety. He's got the rosy cheeks going, and he does seem to be, he does appear to be human, but he's got the beard. He definitely fits the bill that you asked for.
Okay. I think Nim's just like, I'm gonna go talk to that guy. And just walks over.
I'm gonna go with him.
I'm gonna go find Lil.
Okay. What are you doing, Lazarus? As the party just immediately fractures.
As well as I
We're
go.
inside a tavern.
I'm more interested in the jolly farmer.
Okay. All right.
We're gonna interrogate this guy.
Yeah, let's go to the farmer first, since that seems to be where the majority of the party is going. So how do you approach this farmer?
Well, when I notice that Dis is with me, I think Nim while we're walking up, like, I assume it's quite busy in here right now.
It's decently busy, yes.
And so there's, like, background noise. It's like...
Certainly.
Okay. So while we're walking over, I'm like, Dis, gonna need you to do a lot of the talking there, buddy.
All right. I don't even know what questions we're going to ask, but I can just ask anything.
Well, just, like, whatever they remember about gathering stones from the ruins, what they know of the ruins, if they're inhabited, that kind of stuff.
All right, just feel free to chime in. I can finish off your questions as well. Give these people something to think about. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you know what we could do? Maybe we just say that I don't speak common.
I'm never going to buy that. Everybody speaks common. That's why it's common.
Yeah, maybe just say that I'm visiting from another continent, and I speak only Gnomish.
Dude. All right, I'm like your personal
is this becoming
translator.
complicated now.
Okay, we don't have to complicate.
No, actually, I kind of like this idea.
Aw,
Keep
man.
it on the down low. Now, what
It's just a random farmer.
do you know any Elvish?
I'm
Is that
sorry,
one of
just
the languages you speak.
this is oddly prophetic comment. Like, it's called common. Like, it's just amazing. I'm sorry.
What? Elvish? I know Abyssal and Draconic.
That's not Elvish.
doesn't-
They don't share the same alphabet.
I mean, he's
Or
right.
do they?
No, they don't.
No, not at all.
Abyssal might use it, I think.
No.
No, Abyssal has its own script.
Yes, it does. Or at least, I don't know. In my world, it does.
Is he draconic based on Abyssal?
All right, so
Okay, so we just have to
No.
whisper to each other. Maybe, I don't know. I'm deaf and I speak sign language or something.
but then what? How about you just speak another language, all right? But you can't speak loud. Maybe your vocal cords are damaged.
There we go.
I got it.
Have you been approaching the farmer this entire time?
I feel like
did you prep this all ahead of time? Because otherwise,
feel
like,
like-
you've made it to him by now.
I stopped Dis. If that was how I figured it would have been shorter, but I guess I stopped Dis and was like,
Okay.
had this little side conversation with him before we got within earshot of.
Just making
said-
sure. I mean, the guy looks a little loaded, but like,
I mean, now it already looks like what we're planning on, so it works out.
okay.
Start to lie early. That's how you do it.
So I guess describe for me how you approach.
Casually. Like, as casual as I can go up.
Super casual.
Okay. Super casual.
And Nim just strides up right beside Dis, just as casual as possible. Just super
Okay.
casual.
As you approach, the guy sees you. I mean, like, you know, you have a certain energy to your approach, especially with Lazarus. I mean, like, it's kind of hard to avoid. And he just kind of, you can see the guy, he sees you coming, and he kind of leans back on his chair a little and kind of tips his hat down, leans his arm over the shoulder. What can I do for you boys?
Hi, it's nice to meet you. This is a small party of ours. We were just thinking that we needed to find somebody to help us get into the farming business. But the problem we're having is we need to procure stone. And we want a certain stone we've seen in some ruins nearby. And you look like a guy who's maybe pulled up his fair share of stone in his day.
Son, you're going to have to slow down. And let me get just so I make sure I fully understand what it is you're saying to me. You want to get into the farming business, you, the little one in the big lizard.
This is just a start.
I got it. And in order to start the farm, you want some rocks.
That's
right?
correct.
Right? And you want to get the rocks from yonder ruins.
Yeah.
All right, I think I got it. What do you need me for?
I just had some questions about the ruins, especially my gnomish companion here. He's got quite the eye for these things, and he really wants to see him, make sure it's planned out properly. But unfortunately, he can't speak so loud, so I kind of do a good job of translating for him. Good job's the emphasis mine. The best translator.
All right, well, I've been around these parts a while, and I suppose I've wandered on by the ruin from time to time. What sort of information you looking for?
Let me ask. What do we look?
What are they ruins of? I said it's super
Can you roll a stealth roll?
That was super casual.
Also, I feel like if you have a problem speaking quietly, you don't need to do this.
This gnomish hands, they can't even see them.
Just raise the hand to the mouth, even though... Anyway, so how'd you roll?
15.
Okay. Continue.
So, Have you gotten stone from there before?
Well, myself haven't. It don't much like the feel of the place, you understand.
The feel, sorry, could you explain that?
Well, sort of feel kind of wobbly. Wobbly. You know the feeling. You get close, you start feeling a little wobbly.
Huh.
That just makes me feel uneasy.
Like you've been drinking that type of feeling, or like...
No, that's a good kind of wobbly.
This
is more like you just don't feel quite right, you know?
Really? Is that like, how close to the ruins can you get before you get that feeling?
Well, hell, I don't know. Kind of close, I suppose.
Thank you for that. Sorry, it's got to ask my companion again. He's looking anxious to ask another question. What's on your mind?
Just the mental image of how this is going down.
Lazarus is just sitting there with his arms politely crossed in front
So
of him.
we haven't
Kenna's
asked what
very happy she's
what
not
they're
there.
ruins of yet, have we?
No.
What are they ruins of?
What are they ruins of?
That I can't tell you. They've been here since before I got here, and as far as I know, they've been ruins the whole time.
Doesn't that strike you as odd that there's ruins in another dimension just like sitting here longer than anybody's? They've been ruins for everybody who's shown up that we've talked to.
Well, I suppose, but you gotta remember, I'm a man who's farming potatoes inside of a what you call it, a pocket, a weird place who ain't got no sun, yet randomly I got light, but I ain't got no clouds, yet randomly things grow. But I got rain, but I ain't got no clouds, and I ain't got no sunrise or no sunset. It's all weird here, boy.
But now that you put it that way, I mean, that does make sense.
So I suppose, honestly speaking, I never really paused to consider how weird it might be for there to be buildings here already.
Now, say my companions and I wanted to transport some stones from there. We didn't mind the wobbly feeling. We could get these stones and transport them back. See any problems with that? How many other people have done such things?
Well, I do remember when we was originally setting up the buildings, in Cabbage Run, way back. There was some people went out and got stones, but it wasn't from them ruins. It was from a much closer set of ruins that kind of got mined out, so to speak, to make these buildings, which is why you got to go a little further. But there ain't no problem when they did it then. But don't know if I recall a wobbly feeling at the time. This is quite a while ago.
So is it possible that these ruins are completely different than the other ones? If they do produce like different feelings going close?
Well, I would imagine perhaps so.
And so you don't know anybody who's mined from this wobbly mine?
None that I'm fully aware of.
Thank you for your time, sir.
Yeah, you're welcome. You boys need help carrying any of that stone. You don't be afraid to ask. We like to help out around here.
What's the going rate for help? Like a day of help?
If we were to hire you for a day, how much would you charge for that?
Yeah, well, you all going out there to build your own farm, yeah?
We are?
Just come clean. Just tell them about the church. What does it matter?
Lazarus is just like...
So many looks
I'm
going
sorry.
around the table right now.
I'm sorry, I have to go back and come clean on something. We're not actually starting a farm. We're trying to start or help the father build his church. I made up that lie because I'm used to adventuring lately, and it seems like that's probably the best thing to do at first, but I'm realizing you people are different, and I can trust you.
And he gives you an appraising look. And then he reaches over the table. He puts his hand firmly on your shoulder, and he goes, "Now, boy, I don't know how things are out there, but you need to realize lying to people ain't a way to get nothing done. You think on that."
Lazarus has to agree.
Now, as to your question, if you're out there building a church for Father Maxey, I'm sure many of us farmers would be more than happy to help you do that. Free of charge, of course. Man's got to have his church.
Free of charge. That's fantastic. Thank you.
Well, wouldn't be so bad if your father was around at the end of the day, but outside of that...
I think we can have that arranged.
All right, then. Happy I could be of help. Now, you stay out of trouble, young man.
You have yourself a good night.
I will. I always do. He just takes a big swig.
Walk away.
Okay. That went all right. Like, everybody at the table's like...
That was awkward.
Okay, in the meantime, we will go to Tenna. Or Tenna. Jeez.
Tenna.
Sorry.
That was awful.
Dang.
It's been really hard not to say tenor the whole time. I think it's just stuck in my brain. Yeah, we'll go to Kenna, talking to Lil.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Lil's, where she usually is. She's been kind of moving around, serving tables and that sort of stuff, but it's easy enough to catch her eye.
Hey, Lil.
Hey.
Sorry that I keep bombarding you with questions, but I got another one.
Oh, no, that's all right, dear. You're new to this place.
It's true. I feel a little out of sorts. So you said that we'd eventually have to pay for our room and board?
Well, yes, unfortunately.
Understandably. But, what's that gonna cost?
What's that going to run, you mean?
Yeah.
Oh, well, it depends on what accommodations you require, dear. I do have several rooms that are a little nicer than the ones that you woke up in. But if it's the rooms that you woke up in, if those would be fine to you, I can always give you the price for that.
Sure, what would be the price of that?
Sure. So, as you might imagine, we're a little tight on space around here. But we do try to keep things fair. So we usually run somewhere in the neighborhood of about 5 gold a night.
Alright. Do you have any rooms that are, lower than ours?
Well, we do usually put the newcomers into, I wouldn't say our, least appropriate rooms. That would be a little mean, but I don't really have much that would be much of a backward slide to that. If you're worried about financial situations, then there's obviously deals that can be made to assist you in that matter.
Alright. So, do we get paid for these quests that we're on? Just trying to figure it out, because it's very different worlds.
Certainly. Yes, almost every quest that you would get from the Adventurers Guild will involve some form of payment.
Okay.
Not always gold, of course. Sometimes things are paid differently, but more often than not. Most of the time, when you get to a certain level of the Adventuring Guild, you can usually negotiate those things ahead of time. But for the lower levels, because we do tend to keep a fairly tight lid on things, we usually just, once the job is complete, the person who requested the job will inform us of how well you did, and then pay is determined at that point.
Fair enough. Makes sense. So then my next question is, so how much would, some beer cost?
Ah, I see. It's time to drink now, is it?
I mean, I'm open to the idea.
All right, that seems fair. We do manage to do all right on beer here, mostly because we tend to make a lot of it on this rung, as you might imagine. It's not too bad. Usually a pint is somewhere around the order of about a silver.
And then lastly, I want to know how much your delicious meals cost.
Well, for the time being, as long as you're under my care, meals will be covered.
Oh. Well,
It's my little gift to people that help me out.
Well, that's very sweet of you, Lil.
Well, I don't want you to think that I'm being completely unnecessarily altruistic. I do get a cut of your profits when you finish jobs, so it does kind of seem only fair.
I mean, that does seem pretty fair. How much do you get of the cut?
Well, it depends on the job, but usually it's somewhere around the order of about 10%.
Okay. All right. That's all I had. Well, at the moment, those were all the questions I had. I'm sure I'll come back with more.
All right, not a problem. Feel free to ask me anything you need.
Thanks, Lil.
You're welcome, dear.
How wide is the entire tavern? Like, the entire seating area?
The entire seating area is probably about 30 feet across. It's decently sized.
Okay, well, once when I'm walking back with Nim and Ankaraj and whatever we're at the center point. Since most people are here, I'm going to Divine Sense.
Okay. And how far does that cover?
I think that's 60 feet. I think it's actually on my cheat sheet. Yep, 60.
Do you say anything when you ping, or
Nope, it's an ability.
He just kind of mentally checks out the room.
It's a paladin thing.
Yeah. I'm just wondering because
Yeah, no, I don't have
Nim would almost like cast detect magic, but
Yeah, that takes a bit more.
It's got a little bit more to it. Okay, so you send out your paladin ping, we'll call it, to check on things. No evil within that radius.
Nor any strong in the other direction either.
No, nothing that would be qualified as like immensely good either.
Yeah. Alright. Neat.
It's a good place to check. You know, a lot of people are there.
Yeah.
I should mention you do get a little bit of a good feeling from Father Maxi's direction, but not, I mean, like, he's clearly not, like,
Yeah, just a little bit of
saintly or anything. But
just the familiarity.
familiarity, friendly nature, you know, that sort of thing.
actually, you know what? I don't think Nim's detected magic since he got here.
I don't believe you have.
Nim would definitely. He doesn't have it equipped, but he would ritual cast. Now that we're kind of got our information and
Don't you have to have it equipped?
not wizard has ritual caster built in.
Yeah,
So
you can do that anytime.
as long as it's in my book, I can cast it anytime.
Okay, so you'll need 10 minutes.
Yeah. So
I guess you let everybody know.
yeah.
You just start going into a trance in the middle of
So
the...
are we all
No,
together
I think
again?
I would wait until we were sitting in
Okay.
the booth.
Yeah, that is a good question. Do you guys kind of meet up after you're done talking?
Sure, I suppose we at least try to find a table or something.
There's one or two available.
I guess I kind of sit if it's like a booth.
Lazarus picks whichever corner his tail is in the least amount of way.
Fair enough.
And I want to be kind of squirreled away in the corner. Like, I want to be kind of hidden. Not that I'm, like, being super shady or sleight of handing my spell. I just don't want to be super obvious with it either.
That's fair. Okay. So Nim begins casting that. Do you warn them ahead of time that that's happening? How do you inform them of that?
I'm like, I'm just going to check what the magical conditions are around here.
I think that means he's going to the bathroom.
No.
That's not what it means at all,
No.
actually.
It's a euphemism.
Well, I guess that's a strike.
Okay, so while Nim is doing that, is anybody partaking in drinks? Food is being brought to you.
I'll probably order a pint.
Kenna will order a pint.
Okay.
A pint's not much to Lazarus.
No, certainly not. So that'll be, make sure you mark off 1 silver for those of you that are drinking.
I'll order one after I'm done my ritual, but...
Do we want to buy it on the bank, or do we want to buy it individually?
I have perfectly 1 silver, so it's me.
Evens your total out. Always a good plan.
I would have to break
Oh, I
gold,
have
too.
2 silver. So one of you can... Actually, I'll pull one out of the bank, even though we have evenly 900 silver right now.
899 silver, so shameful. It's like the
have a
worst
pencil.
thing to write down.
99 silver in the
Oh,
bank.
yes.
It's just discounting
I was
the
looking
money.
for that card, that's why.
899 silver to go.
So just mark down 1, because I'll use
Sorry, I suppose that
my
should have
2
been the
silver
Batman
for-
voice, but
Take one out. Fly around. 800.
Sorry, I mean, there's no references to Batman here at all.
Oh, so weird.
My parents
The parents are what? Sorry?
are dead.
okay, so Nim finishes casting his detect magic. Nim, do an Arcana check for me, would you? And how far does that reach?
Oh, detect magic. I think reaches as far as I can see. I don't think it's got...
Oh, yes, that's right.
Because it's... I think the range is just me.
Okay. So for a moment, Nim's eyes cloud over Silver briefly while he analyzes the room.
Oh, God damn it.
Well,
Whatever. It's 14.
okay, it's not bad. I mean, detect magic does a lot of the work. So you kind of pop up, you start taking a look around. You definitely, you're getting some magical feels. The first thing you notice is the air here is decently magically laced. Like it just kind of seems to permeate the environment a little. Definitely, it probably because of being a pocket dimension, either from the crafting of it or maybe where it is. But it's kind of all encompassing. The next thing that you notice is you're getting a distinct magical impression from Lil's direction. Although you're not sure if it's her herself, something she's wearing. It's a bit fuzzy in that direction. Almost like maybe it's set up to be a little harder to detect.
Okay.
And then finally...
I'm well aware enough of magic to, like, know that could be a spell.
Could be a spell or an object.
Okay.
And finally, from Father Maxie's direction, not in any way, it's quite clear compared to Lil's. He does appear to be wearing a pendant that definitely has some sort of magical enchantment on it. Your best guess would be some sort of an enchantment.
Enchantment
itself.
type.
Yeah,
Okay.
of an enchantment type magic.
Perfect. Okay.
Outside of that, everything else seems pretty calm.
I'll kind of quietly convey that to the rest of the table. Just the magic I pick up and all of that. Yeah. Sorry. I forgot we were sitting at a table in the game, and I was like... just had a moment.
Like, enchantments that, like, help him to persuade people? Is it, like, shady?
I can only tell the type. I can't tell what it does, really. Unless I get to examine it closer.
Do you know any enchantments that you would logically be trying to use?
There's tons of enchantment magic. I'm more of a divination guy myself.
I want to look at him and see if there's anything, like, off about him. Like, if there's, like, a presence he exudes that's a little bit off from normal that I'd expect, or, like, some feature of his that pops out more than I'd expect based on that feature.
Roll an insight roll.
Yikes.
Try to peer into him a little.
18.
Okay. I mean, you feel like you have a good grasp of the man. Like, he seems friendly enough, he seems devout. Nothing really strikes you. Yeah. It's just a guy. It's just a priest.
Just a guy in a bar.
Just a guy in a bar? Priest in a bar? It's not that weird.
A little weird.
Well, I mean, here it would be, but I don't think there it's all that weird. I was just going to wait and see how much you were going to interrogate Nim about how magic works, considering you don't know any. You're like, so how does magic work? Explain it to me.
That's why I didn't follow through.
All of it.
There's a lot of enchantments, you say.
I've only ever seen one enchantment.
Oh, right. It's actually only within 30 feet of me.
That's fine. That still basically covered everything that it needed to. Okay. Does anybody else have any particular reaction to the information that Nim has passed out?
No.
Okay.
Not particularly.
Okay. I'll wink the spell out early just to...
Okay, but just to not let it run.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not exploring with it on. It lasts for 10 minutes, and I think all the magic in the air would actually be quite annoying.
Probably. It'd be kind of like a fog almost. It
So,
would be irritating.
I feel like I kind of just...
Okay.
Back to normal vision.
Is there anything else that you guys want to get accomplished tonight? Or at this point, is it more or less go to bed, wake up in the morning, and begin questing?
I believe we're drinking right now.
That's true. We haven't done a good old-fashioned drinking in a while.
We have not had We've not at all.
Hold on.
Yeah. I mean, everybody's got
Nice.
1 pint. What? How much is everybody drinking today, do they think?
Oh, God.
What's the
I don't
plan?
know.
Is the party getting blitzed?
We haven't even started.
Oh, we have
Considering we have
stuff
to
to
wake
do
up
tomorrow.
tomorrow, probably not.
Okay.
I know
I
we're
think
not.
one has to be on guard for the chainmail guy anyhow.
Okay. This is paranoia keeping his alcoholism in check. I'm just kidding. He's not really an alcoholic that we know of.
Yet.
Yet.
Our only experience with alcohol is wine's mysterious
Elixir
wine.
drink.
Game.
Okay.
We already got our beers?
Yes.
Okay. Can I, at a random point,
Mm-hmm.
I want to just select one person's beer at random, I don't care, and just make it taste like water.
Okay. Roll a d4.
Dangerous game you're playing.
It is. And, I mean... 3.
Okay. That's Dis.
Doesn't mean you're going to have another one. You said you're only having one.
This is true.
It's just going to get that way easier.
Yeah, so mysteriously, halfway through drinking your beer, you appear to get used to the taste very rapidly, and it goes down smooth.
This is water. What kind of place is this?
I know what you're talking about. This beer is delicious.
How much at this point would I have left? Like, probably emptied it?
Yeah, I mean, like, once it kind of got easy to take, you probably took the glass.
Like, this is crazy. I'm gonna go ask for another one.
You're sure about that? We gotta wake up early tomorrow morning.
This is water. It's not doing anything to me.
Wait. I pulled a trick on you.
What kind of trick? What do you mean? What happened?
I made your beer taste like water.
So you made it water.
No, I made it taste like water.
Like
It was still beer.
like an enchantment.
Yeah, maybe that's what Father Maxie's pendant does.
We had no
Well, that's not
idea.
a reference to anything at all.
But what you're saying is the alcohol's not going to affect me. Because it's water.
I would hold off on, like, drinking more. We gotta get up early.
Do you think I might have to go to the bathroom because I might too much water in the system?
Maybe get a water, and then you'll wake up early to get it out of your system.
You like you're going to enchant it again?
If you get a water, I could enchant it to taste like a beer.
But, no, I mean, okay.
Okay. Disorders of water. Lazarus? Are you just the one? Okay.
He's building a church.
Yeah, fair enough. One should be
Important work
sober
for
while
Paladin.
building a church, I feel.
Important work for a paladin.
Definitely.
But would you
definitely.
be? Because you're building a church for
And-
another god.
And they drink wine.
It's a good god. Lazarus is lawful neutral.
You don't feel any, like you're blaspheming?
No, none whatsoever.
Wow.
He's just helping out another good
You're like
god.
a hippie religious person.
Mm.
It's like,
He's the Buddhist of the...
Says the guy who
Sharing.
worships the god of death and
Also,
has no problem
we've already
building a
agreed
church
to literally
either.
build a church to a fucking devil god on our island.
Kind
Yeah,
of
but-
We don't know
hypocritical.
what's a devil god.
Yeah, let's be careful there. Nobody
not
knows
talking in
what,
character.
Nobody knows what the marrow god is.
yeah, he's just a nice guy too.
Yeah,
we-
wait
we-
until
we
Nim
just
gets
don't know
access to that
anything.
library. All sorts of things are going to come out.
That's right.
It's going to be like every day Nim's going to be feeding you new information on, like, how screwed up all the stuff we've done so far.
Except I imagine Nim's book reading is going to be a lot like browsing the internet. He's going to come out and just be like, "Did you know there are 8 kinds of cats?"
I can make 8 types of soup.
So we see you found the cookbook section.
You know, Nim is still 20 intelligence. He's not
That's
dumb.
true. He's got it.
But how much
not
wisdom
wise.
is he?
I
Not as wise as me.
He's 14 wisdom, so he's not
It's
actually
bad,
terrible.
above average.
I think then, since everybody's having their one drink plus a water that now tastes like a beer, we will send you guys off to bed. As long as you're comfortable each being in your own room, since that is how they still have you set
I'll
up.
check my stuff just to make sure nothing got pooped.
It appears to be untouched. And we will go ahead and take a quick break there. Go ahead.
Before I go to sleep, I want to set up traps around my door in case somebody tries to, like, break in.
What kind of traps?
So, I don't have much in the ways of weaponry that I can really screw with them, but I want to place, like... I want to get something close enough to the door and then put it on its edge so that if it falls over, it's going to make sound, number one, so I wake up really quick.
Okay.
And then I want to push the bed as far away from the door as possible and within a direct sight line of the door. Like,
Okay.
so I'm lying down, I'm going to be, like, facing
The
rooms are
room
pretty
is small.
A little bit of room
Exactly.
rearrangement, but yeah.
And
No,
then I
I think
want to
that's
move
workable.
a dresser. How heavy is the dresser? Is it movable?
I mean, like, the dresser's pretty heavy, and B, it's a pretty small room. Like, once you've moved the bed, the dresser's basically pinned against the wall.
This works. This is fine. And then I'm gonna have my weapons just like right out next to the bed, so I can grab them like instantaneously if the chainmail guy comes in.
Okay, that sounds perfectly fair. And on that note of paranoia, we will take a quick break, and when we come back, it'll be a new day, and the questing can begin. Wow, what a cliffhanger! I wonder what's going to happen next time. Seriously, guys, thanks for joining us. Thanks for listening in. If you liked what you heard, share us with your friends. If you hated what you heard, share us with your enemies. Seriously, though, like, comment, subscribe. We'd love to hear from you, and we'll find out what happens to Double Doubles and Dragons next time.